When'd you get here? Have you watched part 1 yet? If not, then get the heck out of here. There's a link in the description below. Go check that one out. Then come back to this one. If you're already coming from part 1, then I hope this helps, and enjoy. What's up, guys? We are on to part 2 of our video here, and we got a bit of an organized disaster at this point, but we're getting into our 3rd and 4th gear cluster here, and I think I was lucky enough that nothing is really going on with mine. If you watched the last video, you seen that most likely my issues were related to that shift fork. But I know someone was in here and messed with this before, so I'm still going to blow it apart and see what's going on. So let's get into it. So first step to getting this apart here is I got to get this bearing off, and that's just the thing. Here is what my service manual. Take the snap ring off, I did that. They show using like a bearing puller, putting it in a press, and then you press the shaft down out of it. Okay, and then we got the other steps after that. Well, now we got the same dilemma again as I did with the other one. I have a press, but this won't fit in my press. Obviously it had a big giant shop press. See how those gears are in between there? I know that won't fit in my press, because I only have like 3 inches or something, and this is like 4.5. So looks like we're back to using the 7-ton puller. These teeth are just long enough that they're gonna grab the outer ring and then extend in onto where the bearings are a little bit. So I don't have much of a choice. I guess that's what we're going to do. We're going to see how it goes. I'll take it nice and slow. Well, didn't like doing that, but put a little indentations into the seal from where the jaws grabbed, but I don't think we did any serious damage, so I'll pop this seal out of here and double check everything. But it came off pretty easily, so hopefully no serious damage done there. So next is we have this weird like nut with this crush sleeve around it. I have to uncrush where it looks like the previous guy took a screwdriver or something and just basically whacked it in here. So I gotta unbend all of this out so that way I can unscrew it. That's gonna be fun. Okay, so I've welded my inspection holder that came with my toolkit to the table, and then it actually has splines in it to where this drops down in and locks itself. And then also my wrench piece, which you can put a breaker bar on. And this should hold it for me so I can put pressure on it without it spinning around. And I can just come back and grind off these tack loads when I'm done. It is on the camera, yeah. That actually came off pretty easily. I actually couldn't get all the little grooves unpressed out of the gear, so I was hoping to just kind of force it and it would flatten itself out as I went, and I think that's what happened. So gear doesn't ride till right here, so these, if they get a little scratched up, it's not that big of a deal.
Two hours later.
Now I feel like I spent way too much time welding that to the table. That came off a lot easier than I thought it was. There it is. Okay, now we got to press off, or in my case, use a jaw and pull off 5th gear after we got that off. Alright, there she is. Fifth gear. This should be 4th gear here. This just comes off. What is that? Okay, yeah. All of this, these synchronizer hubs, all that are all one piece on these gears. Needle bearing. Okay, and we have our first blocker ring. So these only have interesting. So, unlike 1st and 2nd gear, these only have friction material on one side of them. These look good, which makes sense because I wasn't having any issues. Start assembling this upside down. Have the synchronizer hub. And, oh, there's one of those nice little snap rings I got to deal with. So, yeah, get that off, and then this should come right off. Okay, so we got that snap ring off. That was right there, up and off. Now we got to slide this hub off here. And it just came off nice and easily. So there's our hub for 3 and 4. And then this would be our blocker ring set. There it is. Ah, okay. So, at first I thought that guy might have been, he said he replaced the ring in here, and he did. The other one was still the factory one, that was 4th gear. See that? That's most likely a DCR one. eBay seller that sells parts for these. They're one of the few people you can get blocker rings from. It actually doesn't look too bad. Actually, I got take this whole hub, and then third gear itself comes off. I've already looked over all these. I didn't see any damage, no chipped teeth or nothing, so that's great. And we can go further here. I can take this needle bearing off. I believe this gear is actually part of the shaft. So there's just that. There's a washer down here you're supposed to inspect. But that's everything you need to get off to get in here if you need to change blocker rings. Alright, so at this point we got both gear sets completely stripped down to the bare shafts. Hopefully you found out what was giving you issues at this point. Now I only have so much of the reassembly footage. Like this one clip I'll show you where some people get worried about the super high torque value of that crush nut that we dealt with earlier. And there goes one of my tack loads. Torque spec is how much? 193? I got to 160 and I'm about to throw my whole workbench over, so I think that's good enough. Alright guys, so about the only thing you're missing out on is that you will need a press to get some of this stuff back together. We just got a cheap Harbor Freight one and that worked out just fine. So just to make sure you don't ruin all your hard work, make sure you use the right silicone. Use this anaerobic stuff. It won't harden besides for just where it's compressed. And on a side note, if you're changing your axles while you're doing this, stay away from Gator Racing unless you like throwing your money out the window. And on a side note, get yourself a Hirsch shifter, because they have little stoppers on them, which will help keep you from breaking your shift forks in the first place. So hopefully you don't have to come in here and deal with this crap. Alright guys, so if you got anything to add to all of that, feel free to go wild down in the comments below. And besides for that, have a nice freaking day.